The galaxy had rules, but only one was known by all civilizations: simple, clear, and strict. Never disturb the humans. For millennia, the humans were a mystery, a species that lived on a small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable star. No alien had ever interfered with them, and few had studied them closely. Everyone knew the warning. The humans were unpredictable, clever, and dangerous in ways that no machine, no mind, and no magic could fully control. On Xylar 7, a planet of scholars and historians, the council gathered in their circular chamber, high above the silver forests. Their leader, Veyron, a tall, translucent being with eyes like liquid crystal, addressed the assembly. "Again, we detect movement," Veyron said, projecting a hologram of a small planet in a distant star system. "Human activity, on Earth," the council murmured. Each sound was a soft, melodic hum that vibrated through the chamber. "Activity?" asked another, Mara, whose shimmering skin reflected the council lights like liquid metal. "We know humans survive natural disasters better than any other species. But this is unusual," Veyron nodded. "It is. And yet, as always, we do nothing. That is the rule. Every civilization knows it. Humans are not to be disturbed. Ever." Some in the chamber shivered. Ancient records told of the first attempt to control humans. It had been a mistake that almost destroyed an entire star system. Long ago, a species called the Lumerians had tried to study humans from afar. They sent probes to influence human history, nudging inventions, guiding leaders, and even interfering with conflicts. At first, humans seemed small and fragile. The Lumerians thought they were harmless. Then disaster struck. Humans responded in ways that no one had expected. The Lumerians' careful plans backfired. Entire fleets disappeared. Machines turned against their makers. The humans had survived storms, wars, and plagues. They adapted, fought back, and even thrived under conditions meant to destroy them. The Lumerians barely escaped, leaving behind a warning engraved into the collective memory of the galaxy: never disturb the humans. Now, thousands of cycles later, the warning was still obeyed. Yet curiosity remained. Veyron's eyes glowed faintly. Curiosity is a dangerous thing for a scholar, but it is a human trait he admired, though he would never admit it aloud. "I wish to observe them," Veyron said, almost whispering to himself. The council stiffened. "You wish to break the rule?" Mara's voice was sharp, like a crystal chime. "Do you not know what happened to the Lumerians?" Veyron raised his hands, palms glowing. "I will not interfere, only observe. I only want to see if the stories are true. If humans are remarkable as the records claim." Silence filled the chamber. The council debated in soft tones. Observation, they agreed, was allowed so long as no human knew. And so, Veyron prepared a small vessel, invisible to all sensors and eyes. Its hull shimmered like the surface of a still lake under a starlight sky. He set coordinates for the third planet of Sol, the human homeworld. On Earth, humans went about their lives unaware of the eyes in the sky. A boy in Africa climbed a tree to watch the sunrise. A woman in South America studied the patterns of the clouds. In a small laboratory in Europe, a scientist carefully adjusted her instruments, trying to predict the unpredictable. Humans were busy. They were messy, emotional, brilliant, and stubborn. And somehow, they survived. Somehow, they thrived. Veyron's ship hovered silently above a city, hidden by invisible shields. From inside, he watched humans in motion. A traffic accident occurred, and instead of panic, the humans helped one another. A storm approached, and the people adapted with plans, shelters, and community action. Every small act impressed him. Then, something happened he had not expected. A massive earthquake shook a coastal city. Buildings crumbled, bridges fell, and people screamed in terror. Veyron held his breath, but humans did not give up. Firefighters, engineers, doctors, volunteers all rushed to save lives. Children guided, lost pets to safety. Strangers lifted debris together. Entire teams coordinated without any central command. Humans adapted to the chaos like water flowing around rocks. And then, something more astonishing occurred. A small child, no more than 8 years old, noticed a cracked dam that threatened to flood the city. Alone, the child ran to alert the engineers, pointing out the danger they had overlooked. The engineers acted immediately. They prevented the flood with minutes to spare. Veyron could not believe it. A child, he thought. A human child saved countless lives through observation and courage. It was in that moment he understood why the rule existed. Humans were unpredictable. They could change outcomes faster than any machine or plan. They could survive anything, adapt anything, and even turn disaster into triumph. But curiosity overcame caution. Veyron made a decision. He would continue to watch. But closer this time. He would see how far humans could go, and maybe, just maybe, he would learn something about them that no other species knew. Across the galaxy, the warning of the humans was repeated like a mantra. On planets of fire and ice, scholars and warriors alike told their young, "Do not provoke them. Do not engage them. Do not disturb the humans." Yet, there was always one who doubted. On Xylar 7, it was Veyron. On another distant world, it was a traitor who had once survived human ingenuity in a minor encounter, barely escaping a negotiation that humans turned into an advantage. Across the galaxy, small sparks of curiosity flared, but they were contained. The rule was too strong. Veyron's observation continued. Humans faced challenges with intelligence, courage, and compassion. He saw conflicts resolved without weapons, problems solved without destruction, and communities thriving despite scarcity. Humans were remarkable. And then a day came when humans faced a crisis unlike any before. A comet, large and fast, was heading toward the planet. Scientists calculated it would impact a major city within days. Panic spread. Governments argued. People prayed. Yet, Veyron watched quietly, intrigued by the human spirit. The humans did not give up. Instead, they organized. Scientists worked night and day. Inventors designed solutions, and ordinary citizens volunteered to assist. They combined ancient knowledge with modern technology. They collaborated across continents and cultures, and when the comet arrived, humans executed their plan perfectly. Rockets intercepted it, deflecting it into the ocean. The city was saved. Millions were alive, and the world rejoiced. Veyron was astonished. Humans had done the impossible. The stories had been true all along. Humans were not just resilient, they were ingenious, brave, and united in ways no alien could predict. As he recorded his findings, Veyron knew something important. The rule was there for a reason. Humans could not be controlled. They could not be predicted. They could not be ignored, but also, they could not be disturbed without great risk. Yet, even with this knowledge, he felt a strange thrill, a connection to the humans he observed. He understood, in a way that no alien had before, why humans were the one species in the galaxy who could change everything simply by being themselves. Veyron smiled. The humans had passed every test the galaxy had set before them. And for the first time in millennia, he wondered not what humans could do, but what he could learn from them. The rule remained. Never disturb the humans. But for Veyron, the first observer, curiosity had begun to break the silence of 1,000 generations. And far away, in a galaxy that had always been cautious, the humans continued to live, unaware that they were being watched, unaware that they were the spark of legend in the making. Veyron had never seen a species like humans. From his hidden ship, he watched them celebrate their survival after the comet incident. But humans did not rest. Even in victory, they planned, learned, and prepared for the next challenge. Their minds worked like rivers, flowing around obstacles, always moving, always adapting. In small towns, In vast cities, and in deserts and forests, humans repaired, rebuilt, and improved. They shared knowledge across borders, cultures, and languages. Veyron noted how quickly they learned from mistakes, how they combined old traditions with new inventions, and how they refused to give in to fear. It was unlike anything he had ever witnessed. But the galaxy had problems bigger than a single planet. Far beyond Earth, an unstable star system threatened to collapse, sending dangerous radiation and meteor storms outward into nearby systems. Normally, alien civilizations could calculate the risks, avoid them, and survive. But what no one had realized until now was that the humans' ingenuity could influence outcomes far beyond their planet. Veyron decided to test this. He began sending small, subtle signals, encrypted messages that humans could detect if they were curious enough. Nudges designed to encourage problem-solving. He did not interfere directly. He only observed the humans' response. At first, humans thought the signals were natural anomalies in their data, odd readings from satellites, or glitches in computer systems. But some scientists were persistent. Dr. Elena Mora, a physicist in Europe, noticed a pattern, a series of mathematical sequences that seemed too precise to be random. She studied them day and night, slowly decoding their meaning. Meanwhile, on another continent, a young engineer named Tariq Khan found strange energy fluctuations near a remote research facility. He had never seen anything like it. At first, he suspected an experiment gone wrong. But then he realized that these fluctuations matched Elena's patterns. Across thousands of miles, humans began connecting the dots without ever meeting. Veyron watched in fascination. The humans were communicating indirectly, using intuition, logic, and creativity. He had expected simple problem-solving, maybe some ingenuity, but this level of coordination without direct contact was astonishing. And then the first challenge came. A rogue asteroid, far larger than the comet from before, moved toward Earth. It was unlike anything humans had faced in recorded history. The asteroid's trajectory was unpredictable, and conventional calculations failed. Satellites could not track it accurately. Governments argued over what to do. Panic spread in social media, in news broadcasts, and in streets. Yet humans did not give up. Elena and Tariq, now aware of the mysterious signals, combined their research. They discovered that the asteroid's movement was not purely random. It was influenced by subtle forces they had never considered. Using the encrypted messages from Veyron's subtle nudges, they began designing solutions that no alien could have predicted. They called for international cooperation. Engineers, scientists, students, and volunteers around the world joined the effort. They built new tracking systems, tested experimental propulsion methods, and coordinated through networks that connected continents in minutes. Ordinary people helped by monitoring satellites, calculating small variables, and communicating local observations. Veyron had never seen a species so resilient, so united, and so inventive under pressure. The humans' ability to adapt was extraordinary, and the humans did not stop at science. They used their empathy, their understanding of human nature, to calm fear, inspire courage, and encourage teamwork. Leaders emerged not from politics but from competence, kindness, and vision. Communities came together, supporting each other and sharing resources. Finally, the humans executed their plan. Rockets, guided by unconventional calculations and human intuition, intercepted the asteroid. Teams worked in perfect coordination, combining technology with problem-solving in ways that no algorithm alone could have predicted. The asteroid was deflected just enough to miss Earth, landing harmlessly in the ocean. Veyron could hardly contain his amazement. The humans had done the impossible again. Not just surviving, but solving an astronomical problem that could have destroyed their world. Word of their achievement spread quietly among the observing aliens. Some were impressed, some were fearful, but all agreed humans were not to be underestimated. In the weeks that followed, humans began noticing other anomalies. Signals appeared in the patterns of weather systems, minor gravitational disturbances, and strange energy readings in remote areas. Once again, only the curious and persistent noticed. Dr. Elena Mora and Tariq Khan took the lead. They hypothesized that these anomalies were connected, forming a larger puzzle. Using the principles of logic, mathematics, and experimentation, they began discovering new natural laws that no human had recorded before. One evening, while analyzing energy fluctuations near the South Pole, Elena realized something incredible. The signals, combined with the anomalies, suggested that a galactic-scale disturbance was approaching. Something massive, beyond human understanding, threatened not only Earth, but nearby star systems. Yet humans did not panic. Panic was never a solution. Instead, they prepared. Schools of thought, industries, and governments coordinated. Sharing knowledge and expertise, citizens volunteered to assist in research, engineering, and logistics. Every skill mattered, every effort counted, Veyron observed quietly. The humans were solving problems faster than he could imagine. Unlike most species in the galaxy, humans did not rely on strength, technology, alone, or fear. They relied on creativity, collaboration, and courage. Then came the first test of human ingenuity on a galactic scale. A massive energy storm approached the solar system, threatening to disable satellites, knock out communication networks, and cause disasters worldwide. Conventional predictions suggested catastrophic damage. Humans had no precedent, no historical guide. They had never faced anything like this. But they adapted, using old technology, new experiments, and careful observation. They built systems to shield critical infrastructure. Volunteers helped maintain power grids manually when automated systems failed. Teams on the ground and in orbit coordinated, adjusting satellite paths in real time. Humans improvised constantly, learning from each small success and failure. The storm hit. Winds of charged particles tore through space, knocking out unprepared systems. Yet human efforts minimized damage. Communication remained active. Key cities remained powered. People survived. Lives were saved, not through sheer power, but through ingenuity, adaptability, and cooperation. Veyron felt a deep admiration, even awe. Humans were more than clever. They were fearless, compassionate, and remarkably adaptable. No species in the galaxy approached this combination. The warning of the ancients had been true. Humans were unpredictable, and they were unstoppable when united. Meanwhile, among the alien civilizations, rumors of humanity's capabilities began to spread. The Xylar 7 Council debated the implications. Some urged strict observation, warning that human unpredictability could pose future risks. Others suggested offering cautious guidance to direct humans' abilities for galactic stability. Veyron, however, had a different thought. Perhaps the humans did not need guidance. Perhaps the galaxy could learn from them. Perhaps humanity's strength was not just a threat, it was an opportunity. He returned to Earth, remaining invisible but closer than ever. He observed the humans' response to smaller crises, storms, fires, floods, and social conflicts. In every situation, humans showed resourcefulness, courage, and compassion. Veyron realized something profound. Humans were not only capable of survival, they were capable of inspiring change simply through their actions and example. The humans had unknowingly affected the galaxy. By surviving disasters, solving impossible problems, and demonstrating unity, they had become a force that no alien could ignore. And yet, humans remained humble. They did not boast about their achievements. They did not claim superiority. They simply acted, cooperated, and continued to learn. Veyron recognized that this humility was as powerful as their ingenuity. It was this combination that made humans exceptional and potentially dangerous to any civilization that underestimated them. Then came the final challenge of Part 2, a direct, undeniable test. A small alien probe, sent by a distant civilization curious about the humans, entered Earth's atmosphere. It was harmless but carried technology far beyond human understanding. The probe landed in a remote desert. Governments and scientists discovered it simultaneously. Panic arose, fear spread, and rumors flew across the world. Yet humans responded with calm curiosity. They studied the probe without fear, respecting its origin. Teams of scientists worked together to understand its technology, communicating openly with one another. They avoided weaponizing it or destroying it out of fear. Instead, they experimented, learned, and shared their findings. The probe emitted strange signals. Humans decoded them, learning basic principles of alien engineering. They applied these principles to improve technology on Earth, energy efficiency, communications, and transportation. Within months, humans had adapted alien knowledge in ways that were ethical, creative, and responsible. Veyron was amazed. The humans had turned a potential threat into progress, and they had done so without guidance, coercion, or fear, simply by observing, reasoning, and cooperating. He realized something critical. Humans were not just survivors. They were creators, innovators, and catalysts for change. Every action they took had consequences that could ripple across the galaxy, and for the first time, Veyron wondered if the ancient rule never disturbed the humans was no longer just about fear. Perhaps it was about respect. Humans had sparked a chain of events that even the most advanced alien civilizations could not fully understand. And the galaxy, for better or worse, was beginning to notice. The galaxy had watched humans for centuries, but never so closely as now. Veyron's observations had already proven what the ancients had feared and admired. Humans were unpredictable, clever, and extraordinary. And now, their actions were beginning to affect civilizations far beyond Earth. The Interstellar Council, a group of the galaxy's most advanced species, convened in a chamber that floated in space above a dying star. The room shimmered with colors no human eye could see. Leaders from countless worlds debated the humans' role in the galaxy. "They have survived comets, asteroids, and energy storms," said Mara, her silver-blue form reflecting the council's light. "They have faced alien technology with only curiosity and intelligence. They do not panic. They do not surrender, and yet they continue to grow stronger. They are remarkable," said another. "A creature from a gaseous world, but also dangerous. Their unpredictability could disrupt systems we have maintained for millennia." Veyron rose from his place, his translucent form glowing softly. "Dangerous, yes, but also a force for good. They do not seek power over others. They do not conquer for themselves. They innovate, adapt, and unite. They are an example." The council paused. Veyron's words stirred a mix of awe and fear. No species had ever been called an example before. The humans were small, fragile, and yet they had achieved what most civilizations only dreamed of. On Earth, humans continued their daily lives, unaware of the attention they commanded. Schools, research centers, communities all carried on, blending ordinary life with extraordinary problem-solving. Humans were preparing for challenges both known and unknown. The alien probe that had landed in the desert had been carefully studied. Humans, through collaboration and innovation, had not only learned from it, they had improved communication networks and energy systems using principles derived from alien technology. The galaxy noticed. Alien scientists across many systems detected sudden surges of knowledge, energy efficiency, and technological progress emanating from Earth. It was subtle, yet undeniable. Humans were affecting systems far beyond their own planet. Veyron's ship hovered silently above a major human city. He watched children in schools learning advanced concepts far beyond what even he had expected them to grasp. He observed communities solving local crises with creativity and unity, and he marveled at the humans' ability to care for one another, even while facing danger and uncertainty. "They do not conquer," he whispered to himself. "They do not destroy. They only create, solve, and unite. Perhaps this is why they survive." The council convened again, this time with Veyron presenting his observations. Holograms displayed human achievements: the deflection of asteroids, the handling of energy storms, the ethical use of alien technology, and the global collaboration during crises. "Humans act as if they are small," Veyron explained. Yet they influence events across systems. They solve problems without coercion, without violence. They adapt to challenges that would destroy any other species. And they do it together, with empathy, intelligence, and courage. Some council members were skeptical. "But they are primitive," said one. "Their weapons, their technology, their governance, they are still rudimentary. How can they impact the galaxy?" Veyron shook his head. "Their strength is not in weapons. Their strength is in thought, in courage, in unity. That is why the ancients warned us. Humans cannot be predicted, cannot be controlled, and cannot be ignored." A silence followed. The council understood that humans were no ordinary species. They had passed tests, survived disasters, and solved challenges that had confounded the galaxy's greatest minds, and they had done it without seeking power. Meanwhile, humans continued to live their lives, facing daily challenges with the same ingenuity. A sudden meteor shower threatened a small city, and volunteers organized shelters, guided traffic, and assisted emergency services. Scientists calculated the meteor's trajectory and developed methods to divert them. Citizens adapted to the situation in hours, saving lives and property. In a remote research station, Elena Mora and Tariq Khan observed unusual signals coming from space. The signals suggested an interstellar threat, approaching a massive wave of cosmic energy that could impact Earth and nearby systems. Yet, the humans were calm. They immediately began to plan, gather resources, and test solutions. Veyron watched in admiration. The humans' ability to coordinate, adapt, and innovate under pressure was unparalleled. Each crisis became an opportunity for growth. Each challenge revealed new ingenuity. The Interstellar Council decided to make contact. Not to conquer, not to interfere, but to understand. A fleet of ships from various civilizations traveled to Earth. They observed from orbit, cloaked from human detection, but closely enough to learn. When humans detected the fleet, fear and curiosity spread. Governments mobilized research teams, attempting to understand the visitors. But instead of panic, humans responded with intelligence and diplomacy. Scientists and leaders approached the unknown with caution, careful observation, and logical reasoning. Veyron, now visible to select humans, revealed himself to a group of leaders and scientists. "We have watched you for long," he said. "You are remarkable. Your ingenuity, courage, and unity are unlike anything we have seen. You have passed every challenge, not through power, but through thought, cooperation, and compassion." The humans were astonished but composed. They asked questions, seeking to understand the visitors, their technology, and their intentions. Veyron answered honestly, explaining the galaxy's rule, the observation, and the Council's interest. "They feared you because you cannot be predicted," Veyron said. "You act with intelligence and empathy. That makes you powerful." Elena Mora spoke for the humans. "We do not seek power. We only try to understand, solve problems, and live together. That is how we survive." Veyron smiled. "That is why you have earned respect, not fear. You have proven that humanity is a force for good. Even on a galactic scale, the Council decided to officially recognize humanity. They lifted restrictions, not to control, but to include humans as observers and participants in galactic affairs. Humans were offered knowledge, technology, and communication with advanced civilizations. But the humans chose carefully. They wanted to remain independent, to grow at their own pace, while learning and sharing in ways consistent with their values. Veyron returned to orbit, satisfied. Humanity had passed the ultimate test, not only surviving threats, disasters, and alien observation, but doing so with ingenuity, compassion, and unity. They had earned their place among the stars, not through conquest or domination, but through the very qualities that made them human. Across the galaxy, the ancient warning was repeated once more. Never underestimate the humans. But now, it carried a new meaning. Humans were not only dangerous, they were extraordinary, capable of shaping the galaxy in ways few could imagine. On Earth, life continued, Children laughed and learned. Scientists explored new discoveries. Communities faced challenges with courage and ingenuity. And humans, unaware of the full scope of their influence, continued to grow, adapt, and thrive. Veyron watched them, knowing the galaxy would never be the same. Humans had shown that intelligence, unity, and compassion were more powerful than any weapon or machine. And as the stars shimmered above Earth, it became clear. Humanity was not just a species to observe, but a species to respect, to learn from, and perhaps, one day, to call equals. The humans had sparked a change that would echo across systems and civilizations for generations. They were no longer just inhabitants of a small blue planet, they were pioneers of the galaxy. A reminder to all species that courage, ingenuity, and unity could overcome any challenge. And in this realization, the galaxy learned an enduring truth. Underestimating humans was the greatest mistake any civilization could make.